let's talk about TikTok bans. You know how all creators are like, oh, TikTok's getting banned. That's a bad thing. And there's a lot of people in America that's like, oh my God, TikTok's getting banned. Well, TikTok should be banned. 100%. Like, no question in my mind, just using critical thinking. So how do we piece up that ban so everybody understands, right? If it was actually a true ban. There's a little bit more nuance if you actually read the bill, but nobody reads these days. Another missing critical thing about critical thinking. But anyways, let's get into that TikTok ban real fast because, oh my gosh, you're gonna love this. 1 second, I'll turn. We'll check the post. I can't wait to go through that one as well. But okay, the TikTok ban's a great exercise in critical thinking. Right now in China, CCP has basically control over ByteDance. If they say, hey, we need to get information about this, or we need to influence things a certain way, ByteDance will say, yes, we will make that happen. And that's who owns TikTok. So what's the big problem? There's a lot of Americans that love TikTok right now. It's fun. You get on there, man, you can just swipe all day long, kill some brain cells. It's like going and having 12 beers. And then at the end of it, you're like, oh man, that was rough. So, I mean, psychologically, probably not the best thing, but I'm not going to, digress. I'm not going to shame you for drinking or shame you for watching TikTok. But in China, if you're young, under the age of 18, you get a whole different algorithm. If you're young over here under the age 18, you get a lot of suggestive content that is not age appropriate. So there's 2 different TikToks now. There's one for China and one for everybody else. That can be a very big problem. And the China algorithm emphasizes education. So are they making us stupid? Yeah. Are they doing it on purpose? Maybe not. Maybe it's just they can get more ad revenue, but there's really not that much advertisement on TikTok. That's the counter. That's the rebuttal. Critical thinking is all about not just taking one side, but looking at the other side as well. So that's the first piece of the puzzle. The next thing we got to approach here with TikTok is, okay, we got those 2 things. Let's transition over to the other side and say, okay, what about Facebook and all the competition of TikTok? YouTube? You know how much I love YouTube Shorts, right? I've already shown people how to block all those. But you have all this competition. This is anti-competitive to ban one of the only other competitors, right? I hear this a lot. I'm like, okay, well, if we go over to China, does it have Facebook? Does it have YouTube? Does it have any of these things? Oh no, those were banned. So we need to set a standard because we're a democracy and we're acceptive of this. Okay. Why did China ban Facebook, Twitter, YouTube? Well, it's pretty simple. They didn't want an American company able to interfere with their elections or influence their population. Seems fair. But that they can influence us? And you're like, well, Titus, that's not proven. Well, what happens when the House bill passed? Millions of people got a notification right on their phone saying to call their congressman and say, hey, you need to make sure you don't ban TikTok. Millions of people got that notification all at once. Talk about influence. That's just direct influence. That's pretty nefarious on its own, how much influence that has. Think of that if an American company did that to a foreign adversary, which it could happen. I'm just saying, Facebook, probably there's a case with, was it Syria? Or no, it wasn't Syria. Anyways, I digress. I'm just saying, that's super messed up. Now, it may not be as straightforward as that. And people are like, hey, so they can influence all that thing and pressure people to call their congressman to make sure TikTok doesn't get banned. That in its own means it should be banned. But we didn't even approach the scariest of all here that no one is even talking about. What happens if there's a political candidate that the CCP or ByteDance wants to make sure that's friendly to them? They want to make sure that guy becomes president, let's say. How hard would it be to tweak that algorithm to make sure every video that is regard to politics favors their candidate, puts that candidate in a favorable light, and elevates any other things for the opposing candidate? Pretty simple, especially in today's technology world. That should scare the living hell out of every single American, and every single person, 100% of us, should be for banning TikTok. All you have to do is critically think and look at how scary that is. But people are lazy. People don't like to think. They want someone else to think for them. And that scares the living hell out of me, that there's one American that believes TikTok shouldn't be banned.